All right, we're going to do some problems in 2.3. Sorry, these are a little bit long. They don't all fit on here, but I'll try to make it work. I'm going to talk about number 3. I didn't assign this one, but if you had the total amount of if the total amount of money you had to invest was 2,000 and you deposit X amount in one investment, how can you represent the remaining? So if you had 2,000 and part of it is X dollars, then the other part is what's left from 2,000. So it's 2,000 minus the amount that you put in the 1 will leave what's left. And this idea of if you let X be something, part of a total, then the other part is the total minus what you took out. So number 4, you had to do a similar problem. If a carpenter has a 10-foot long board and one section is n feet, if it was 6 feet, there'd be 4 feet left. It would be 10 minus whatever we used would be the other section. So if it was 5, 10 minus 5 would be the other section. If you made a piece 3, it'd be 10 minus 3, 7 feet left. Okay? All right. So now this retired woman has $50,000 to invest. So here's a stack of $50,000. Now you can make the stack look more like a stack of money. Let's say it was $100 bills. So there's 500 $100 bills, making the $50,000. She needs to get interest of $6,000 from it. And so she's going to put part of it into a 15% interest. Let X amount that she puts in this 15% bond. It's a little riskier. So let's say this is X, and she's going to put this in at 15% interest. So it means every year she's going to get 15% of this dollars. So to find 15% of that, it's going to be 0.15x. That's how much money in interest she'll get in a year. But the rest of this 50,000, this part up here, which is 50,000 minus the X, same principle as we had on the last two problems. So this is going to be 50,000 minus X. And the interest on that is 7%. And so the total interest she's going to have is 7% of this and 15% of this part, and that has to come out to be $6,000 to meet what she wants to do, to meet her certain living expenses. So if X is the amount she invests at 15%, the amount she's able to invest in the CD is what's left. That's the answer to 17. Then set up an equation and solve it to get that. So we set this up. And so if we distribute this, we get 0.15x plus 0.07 times 50,000 is 3,500, and minus 0.07 times x equals 6,000, If you subtract 3,500, we get 2,500. And if you take 0.15 minus 0.07, you get 0.08. So this minus this is 0.08x. If you divide that into there, you will get the amount that she should invest in the 15%. And if you take the answer to that away from 50,000, you'll find out how much she invests in the other. Let me grab a calculator and figure that out. I don't want to do that one in my head and make a mistake, so I'm going to go divided by 0.08. So 31,250. That's how much she should invest at 15%, and 50,000 minus that, which should be 28,750, she would invest in the other amount. Okay? And then this one. Yes. For the following exercise, Truck Rental Agency offers two kinds of plans. Plan A charges $75 a week plus 10 cents per mile. B, $100 per week plus 5 cents per mile. Write a model equation for the cost of renting truck on Plan A. Well, Plan A is going to be 75 times the number of weeks plus $0.10 times the number of hours. That's going to be the cost on Plan A. Plan B is going to be $100 times the number of weeks plus $0.05 times the number of, miles, times the number of miles. I'll just call that M. That's the cost on the second plan, first plan. Now, if they kind of leave something out here. What if, say, what's the number of miles would generate the same cost for both plans? Well, we'd have to assume for just 1 week or less. So let's just put 1 in for each of these. So then it would be just $75 plus 0.10 per mile. We want to know when that cost equals 100 for 1 week plus 0.05 per mile. So then I can subtract 75 from both sides, and I get 25. And I can subtract 0.05 miles from both sides, so that makes it 0.05 per mile. So then divide that into 25, 0.05. And that's 500 miles in a week. Both plans would cost the same if they were for 500 miles. So, if Tim knows he has to travel 300 miles, which plan should he choose? Well, it's going to be the same number of weeks, so hopefully he can do it in a week. And then if he can do it in a week, then the plan that charges, 500 miles is when they're equal. So this plan that charges only 75 and 10 cents per mile would be less than the plan that's $100 and 5 cents a mile. If you take 5 cents times 300 plus $100, you'll get more than if you multiply, let's see, they're both the same at 500 miles. So this one will be less for more miles. This one will be less for less miles. Yes. Let's just check ourselves here. 75 plus 0.1 times 300, $105. 100 plus 0.1 times 300 is $130. So this plan is cheaper for less miles, but if you go a lot of miles, this one becomes cheaper because it costs less per mile.